Let me tell you a story about a quiet man. A man forged in fire and shadow. His name was Eli Vance, not just a veteran, a survivor, a ghost walker that he did 2 tours in places where the sand screamed and the sun hated you. He carried the weight of ghosts, but he never let them break him. He wasn't loud. He didn't boast about the medals tucked away in a cigar box. He just lived in a house that a worn, beautiful, shotgun house that was more than wood and plaster. It was the legacy. His great-grandfather, Sergeant Major Tobias Vance, built it in 1919. A homecoming gift, a promise of peace, right there. The last one standing on Miller Street. But Miller Street had vanished. IT was swallowed. Consumed. IT had become prime real estate. The last frontier for cold, heartless profit, and standing over Eli, like a storm cloud of pure avarice and tailored Italian wool, was Marcus the Hammer Hawthorne. Hawthorne Development. His reputation was built on tearing down neighborhood histories and replacing them with glass boxes that looked identical in every city that he saw. Eli's house not as a home, not as a sanctuary that he saw it as a cancerous spot on his billion-dollar body, the final piece of resistance. Hawthorne didn't negotiate. He didn't offer, he demanded. He approached Eli one blistering July morning, stepping out of a black Mercedes S-Class like a king inspecting a peasant. His designer sunglasses hid the eyes of a shark. "Mr. Vance," Hawthorne sneered, leaning over Eli's small porch railing. His silk tie was a vulgar flash of color against the peeling paint of Eli's door. "Let's dispense with the sentimentality. This shack is a liability. It is dragging down the value of my $400 million investment. We're offering $300,000. Cash. Today. Take it. Leave." Eli, who had seen true terror in his life, just kept sipping his chicory coffee, the spoon clinking gently against the ceramic mug. His eyes, the color of burnt umber, locked onto Hawthorne's tailored chest. "Mr. Hawthorne." Eli's voice was low, gravelly, a sound that came from the bottom of a deep well. "This house is not for sale. That figure, $300,000. That's what a man pays for a car, not for a soul." He set his mug down. This ground is my inheritance. It holds memories you couldn't afford to dream of." Hawthorne laughed. It wasn't amusement. It was the sound of a closing bank vault. Cold, dismissive, humiliating. "Memories don't pay property taxes, old man." Hawthorne spat, adjusting his cufflink. "They only make you poor and sentimental." "Mine do," Eli countered, rising slowly from his chair. The simple act of standing felt like a challenge to the giant. That was the first mistake, the unforgivable disrespect. Hawthorne unleashed the squeeze. He wasn't going to wait for a legal solution. He was going to use attrition. Level 1, the physical assault. First, the noise became a weapon. Construction started at 4:30 a.m. Jackhammers weren't just rattling the window panes. They were shaking the very foundation of the old house. Eli found dust on his great-grandmother's wedding photo. Then, the incidents that a massive water main burst, accidentally clipped by an excavation team right at the property line. No water for 11 days. They made Eli watch as the neighboring towers got priority repairs that a transformer fire, coincidentally, right beside his electrical meter. Power outages every night. Eli had to use kerosene lamps in the house his ancestors had loved. Level 2. The bureaucratic chokehold. The legal attacks began. They were swift and overwhelming. Hawthorne's legal firm, a downtown behemoth, filed papers weekly, eminent domain. They claimed the house was essential for public access to the new rail line he was installing. A lie. Zoning violations. They claimed the house's setback requirements, established in 1919, were obsolete and therefore illegal under new city codes. Nuisance claims. They alleged that Eli's overgrown wisteria vine posed a fire hazard to the new commercial structures. The paperwork piled up like snowdrifts on Eli's kitchen table. He was drowning in confusing language and intimidating deadlines. Eli was a man who knew how to clear a perimeter. He did not know how to clear a legal injunction. Level 3. The grand humiliation. The developer's final, cruel, and calculated move. Hawthorne ordered a temporary, 8-foot-high, corrugated steel fence to be built. It was a barricade erected 3 feet from Eli's external walls. Didn't just block the sun. It trapped the house. Enclosed. Eli's small garden, the place he planted his tomatoes and talked to his wife's memory in a perpetual shadow. The veteran's home was now standing in a pit of muddy gravel and shadow, isolated, suffocated, humiliated. He couldn't even walk to the street without maneuvering around construction debris and deep, standing puddles. The veteran was trapped, prisoner in his own legacy. One rainy Friday evening, the arrogance peaked. Hawthorne himself drove up in that black SUV. He didn't park. He idled, his massive vehicle sinking slightly into the mud pit he created. He rolled the window down just enough to let his venom escape, the rain streaking down the glass like tears. "Look at this, Vance. Look at your museum piece," he purred, the speaker on his car amplifying his voice mockingly. "You're pathetic, a failure of the system. I own the street, I own the air, and tomorrow, I will own the dirt you stand on." He didn't toss a check this time. He held up a signed document, a court order for a summary judgment of foreclosure based on a contrived property tax lien they had engineered. "Sign it, old man, or I take everything and charge you for the demolition." Eli, standing on his porch, rain slicking his worn leather jacket, did not move. He did not flinch. "You haven't understood a single thing, Mr. Hawthorne," Eli said softly, his voice cutting through the noise of the rain and the idling engine. "You see dirt. I see history. And sometimes, history has jurisdiction." Hawthorne simply laughed, loud and victorious, and sped away, convinced he had delivered the kill shot. He was already planning the Sunday press conference. Miller Street complete. But Eli Vance wasn't just fixing a broken water line in his yard. He wasn't just sorting through old documents. He was working. He was building his defense. His ally was a fierce, young attorney named Anya Sharma from the Rights of Home nonprofit. She was the one who saw the fatigue in Eli's eyes, but also the steel. "Mr. Vance, this is insane. We have checked everything," Anya whispered one afternoon, surrounded by dusty legal binders. "City, county, state, they're all working for Hawthorne." Eli just pushed a brittle, faded piece of paper across the table. It was a receipt for a Congressional Library research fee from 1958. "My father went looking years ago," Eli explained. "He said the key wasn't in the courthouse. It was in the war archives. That land wasn't bought. It was awarded." Anya's eyes widened. She followed the thread. "You see," Eli knew something Hawthorne, with all his money and arrogance, had never bothered to look for. Something too old and too dignified for their spreadsheets. They found it, deep in the dusty, seldom used files of the Library of Congress. Eli's house was built in 1919. True, but the land it sat on had been assigned in 1918 to his great-grandfather. Sergeant Major Vance was a decorated hero of the Spanish-American War. The last of his company to return. He had acquired the plot directly through a specific, federally recognized military land grant, the Veterans Homestead Sanctuary Act of 1918. This wasn't just a grant. It was an act of Congress that designated specific property lines in perpetuity as a Veterans Homestead Sanctuary. It was meant to be untouched, a promised land for service. It wasn't state zoning. It wasn't a city domain. It was federal law. Anya read the crucial stipulation aloud, her voice trembling with rising power. "The said parcel of land, being held under the authority of this act, shall never be alienated, seized, sold, or modified for commercial or municipal purposes, unless the resident veteran explicitly waives the right in writing to the Secretary of the Interior." Eli Vance had never signed a waiver. And then, they found the second, even more devastating clause. The TO preserved the historical integrity and character of the sanctuary. The law stipulated a 100-foot protective easement in every direction from the physical boundary of the deed. 100 feet of sacred, federal ground. The calculation was simple and catastrophic for Hawthorne. Hawthorne had built his multi-story parking garage, his luxury apartment complex, his new corporate headquarters, all of it directly into that protected 100-foot zone. His million-dollar foundations? They were violating federal ground. The major power shift happened on Monday morning, not with a jackhammer, not with a lawyer's threat, but with a single, sharp cease and desist order delivered by a stern-faced federal marshal. The marshal, flanked by reporters who had been tipped off by Anya's team, strode past Hawthorne's stunned security guards and taped the order to the glass doors of the new corporate tower lobby. The order didn't just stop Hawthorne's demolition of Eli's house. It demanded the immediate cessation of all construction within the 100-foot easement. That meant the parking garage was frozen. The corporate tower was frozen. The entire 10-block, billion-dollar development was now a dead zone. Hawthorne's executives watched, slack-jawed, as the Marshals team began marking the federal boundary line with bright orange stakes, carving a clean, protected circle around Eli Vance's humble, victorious home. The media descended like a plague of locusts. The headline wasn't "Developer buys old house." It was the roar of justice. Billion-dollar blunder. Developer built on sacred veterans' land. Federal injunction halts $400 million project. The fallout was instant and absolute. Hawthorne's permits were instantly revoked. He was not only in violation of the federal act, but he was found to have lied on municipal filings. His financing evaporated. The consortium of banks demanded immediate repayment, citing the monumental legal liability. The fines levied for violating the federal sanctuary were astronomical. They didn't just hurt his company, they crushed it to dust. Marcus Hawthorne, the Hammer, had built his empire on disrespect. And disrespect was the only thing that could topple it. The final image was poetic, chilling. Hawthorne, the man who owned the street, was filmed being led away by his own shell-shocked lawyers, dodging questions about civil fraud and asset forfeiture. He was shouting, but the sound was drowned out by the click of camera shutters. He became the pathetic one, ruined by a single, quiet man he had deemed irrelevant, Eli Vance. He got his house back. The metal barricade came down. The mud was cleared, and the sun hit his porch again, warmer than ever. The federal ruling forced the city to purchase all the surrounding land. The land Hawthorne had bought and polluted for fair market value. They didn't build towers, they built a beautiful, sprawling National Veterans Memorial Park, a place of quiet reflection and natural beauty, and Eli Vance's quiet, humble home stood proudly at its center. A reminder, a monument to the kind of honor and resilience that money can never, ever buy. The powerful life lesson here is simple. It's a truth you need to internalize. Never mistake silence for weakness. That quiet man, the one they ignore, often holds the key. Never confuse wealth with wisdom. Money is loud, but history is persistent, because the true foundation of power isn't in what you can buy. It's in what you choose to protect, and how deeply you understand the ground you stand on. And sometimes, the quietest soldier holds the deadliest secret, the one written in forgotten law. The veteran they disrespected? He didn't just win a fight. He won back dignity for a whole generation. He taught the bully that history and honor always win the final battle. Remember that, like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of justice, truth, and power from behind the scene.